Tick tock, tick tock. So, what's going on, everybody? While we wait for the endless chatter of who the Yankees going to trade for, or who the Yankees going to trade for third base, is it going to be Suarez? Is it going to be Brian Hayes? We're hearing Cameron Maybin pushing for Ryan McMahon from the Rockies. Those seem to be the three guys right now, maybe in that order. But Eugenio Suarez is not doing the Diamondbacks any favors either. So I'm going to attach an article down below so you can see some of the stuff he's been saying recently. He's not really making it clear that he wants to come back to the Diamondbacks now. So he's even said he wants to make it as hard as possible for the front office. So I don't know whether it's hard as possible to trade him, hard as possible. I don't know. But he's definitely not doing the Diamondbacks any favor. So that could work in the Yankees' favor, but we'll see. We'll see. But, I wanted to talk about one other player, and shout out to everybody in the chat, by the way. Ben Rice, right? Now, why am I bringing him up? Well, there's only a couple of guys that can be traded by the Yankees that can bring in some type of return that's going to merit improvement, right? Merit an upgrade. And I'm not saying I want to trade Ben Rice, but he's one of the few players that can extract the value back for the Yankees. And when I look at a couple different teams, Pittsburgh, right? Could you put him as part of a trade for Mitch Keller and David Bednar, right? Just those two guys. If you don't do Brian Hayes. Let's just say they get Suarez from the Diamondbacks, right? For whatever they get sent him for. Let's just say that happens. And then does he propose a good option there for Bednar and Keller? You can add to him, obviously, because I really don't think that the Yankees are going to trade Spencer Jones or Cam Schlittler. I know some people are afraid of Cam Schlittler's arm and so on and so forth, but I don't think they want to move any of these guys. I think they would be more willing to ship out one or two of their draft picks from last year. Maybe. But we'll see, right? And again, also, the San Diego Padres right now are having an issue with their catcher, Ethan Salas, who's recovered. So could that pose a possibility for the Padres too? Him or J.C. Escara. And shout out to Jonathan for getting that intel as well. My Prime Minister, valuable information, right? But there's a lot of moving pieces that have to go with this, which is I wanted to get your feedback on Ben Rice. But again, there's a couple things here. There's a bunch of players that could be expendable. They seem to not have a path for Yankees right now, right? Brendan Beck. His name is being floated in trades. Alexander Vargas, T.J. Rumfield, Escara, he's here right now. Jesus Rodriguez, right? Ben Shields, Everson Pereira, Yorbit Vivas, Tristan Vreeling. Those types of guys. Any of those guys can be packaged in a trade, and likely would be packaged in a trade if the Yankees have the ability to do that. And they might not have a lot of value here, but they can have significant value elsewhere, right? So Arizona's called up Ben. Now, I'm not surprised. And I don't see the point in this trade proposal that's being put forth right now for Jalen. Jalen Bates on the IL. Why did the Yankees trade for a guy into the IL? So, along with Suarez and Merrill Kelly. If you could do Suarez and Merrill Kelly, that's one thing. But I don't see the point in adding a reliever who's injured just to have to pay more on the back end, prospects-wise. So, and these guys also, Rule 5. And again, there are other guys here. So, in the next coming Rule 5 draft, these guys, the Yankees have to consider protecting, right, if they don't trade some of them. Rafael Flores, Spencer Jones, Jace Avina, Brendan Beck, Chase Hampton, Elmer Rodriguez Cruz, Cam Schlittler, Brock Selvage, Henry Lalane. All these guys would have to be protected from the Rule 5 draft. If they're not, my guess is some of them will be scooped up. My guess is that they're going to protect any of these guys. It's going to be Spencer Jones, Chase Hampton, probably Rafael Flores, maybe E.R. Cruz, Cam, obviously, but unless he's in the rotation. So, and what I'm hearing is Mason Miller is not available, but I'd be surprised if they made him available. They'd have to be blown away for a trade. That's for sure. They did trade for Bader when he was hurt, but he also addressed a need that they had nothing with, and he came back and he performed extremely well. I don't see the point. We need immediate help in the bullpen now. You're getting an injured reliever that doesn't serve us anything. They're just like signing David Robertson yesterday. Congratulations to the Phillies, but he wouldn't have done the Yankees much value in the next 4 weeks or so because he needs a ramp-up period, right? So, but these guys here need to be protected, right? But other guys who could be parts of the trade package: Bryce Cunningham, Ben Hess, Griffin Herring, Alan Facundo, I pronounce his name. But these are all Rule 5 candidates. Well, not the guys that were drafted last year. Those guys aren't Rule 5 eligible yet. But some of these guys can definitely be trade candidates. And look at they've got some high-end pitchers this year, right? Pico Khan, you signed them. 4th-round pick is a big lefty. I think he could rock it. He could probably make it to the majors before Ben Hess and Bryce Cunningham, right? So as a senior from Mississippi State, a lefty who throws really hard, has an unorthodox delivery, and gets a lot of strikeouts, that's the type of guy who can make it to the majors before some of these other guys. Right? Henry Lonnie's got a big arm, but he can't stay healthy. So what do you know, Ken? What do you know, my man? Well, yeah. They don't have to protect Cam Stiller. He's on the 40-man already. If you're on the 26, you're already on the 40-man. So as long as he stays there, they don't have to protect him. So, good, Diza. Hello, how are you? But some of these other guys, like Chase Hampton's on one of these highly touted arms, he had Tommy John this year. Are they going to protect him? And my guess is, some of these guys will get scooped up. The Yankees are the team that's most looted by all the other teams in the Rule 5 draft, right? It's just their show to not hold the Baseball America farm ranking as gospel. There's a reason why the Yankees farm is looted more than any other farm in baseball. Okay? So, teams have called Jojo Romero Cardinal. I didn't realize he's pitching really well. Okay. Lefty, he's a lefty reliever too, right? Yeah. Well, yeah, if Hampton is scooped up in the Rule 5, then yeah. My guess is, if Hampton's here, I would start him in short and long relief, just like I would do the same thing with Louis Hill and Ryan Yarbrough when he comes back. I want to protect these guys, right? And I like JT Brubaker and what he's doing, but so on and so forth. We need to have layers of protection with the rotation. And kudos to Marcus Stroman, what he's doing right now. I don't know if he gets traded or not, but if he doesn't get traded, if he continues to perform like this, gives the Yankees some innings of depth, I'll take that. I'll take it, right? Yeah, Hampton's due back next year. He's one of the more highly touted arms. He was the one that drew the most comparisons to Garrett Cole. He's a big, hard thrower with a big arm. And now Cam Schlittler is drawing a lot of these comparisons too, right? But back to Ben Rice. What could you get for him? Like we mentioned the Pittsburgh Pirates. Keller's got controllable years. Bednar's got another year. Let's go to the Colorado Rockies. Jake Bird, Seth Halverson, relievers, right? Pittsburgh needs a first baseman or an upgraded first base. So do the Colorado Rockies need an upgraded first base or catcher. He provides both, right? Could you add one of these other prospects that we mentioned here in a package for, let's just say, Jake Bird? Or let's just say Ryan McMahon and Jake Bird happens from the Rockies. Can you lead a package with Ben Rice, right? And again, I'm not saying I want to trade him, but I'm all about making the team better. And I'd rather do something like this than give up a guy like Spencer Jones. So, who I think has more upside than anybody offensively right now with this team. He still has things to refine, sure. But I don't know anybody who has that type of upside in this entire farm. Not even George Lombard, right? And that's all due respect to George Lombard, right? And then the Minnesota Twins, Griffin Jacks, Lewis Varland, relievers with controllable years. Could you get a trade there? Could you trade Ben Rice? They need an upgrade in catcher and first base as well. Could you Ben Rice and a prospect or two for one of those relievers and Willie Castro or both of these relievers? It's not Joe and Duran, but it doesn't need to be Joe and Duran, right? These are three teams where you can trade. And keep in mind, too, why am I bringing up these trades? Because let's just say the other pieces of the puzzle are considered, and they should be. Cody Bellinger has to factor into this too, right? Is he going to come back? And if he does, is he going to play left field where he does play, where he plays now, or is Paul Goldschmidt going to come back? And if Paul Goldschmidt comes back, then that also leaves no path for Ben Rice. If Paul Goldschmidt doesn't come back, then you can play Ben Rice at first base and keep Bellinger in the outfield, right? As one option. Or you can, if you move Rice in a trade, you can move Bellinger to first base and then move Spencer Jones to left field. So, and then there goes you got your power bat there in Bellinger and Spencer Jones, right? And let's just say, for giggles, they traded for Suarez, and then they called up Spencer Jones in September. Can you imagine the firepower in this lineup? It'd be complete insanity. Complete insanity. So, and that, I can't see Ben Rice going to the Diamondbacks. They have Josh Naylor right now. And until they trade him, he's at first base for the Diamondbacks. So, Ben Rice, he could get some reps at catcher, but they have Austin Wells there. And if they do happen to trade J.C. Escarra and the team is fielding a lot of calls on him, it makes sense to bring up Rafael Flores to replace him. That protects him from the Rule 5, and it gives the Yankees, to me, a more high upside backup or complement to Austin Wells, who bats right, he throws right, and he's got a cannon for an arm. And he's one of the more defensively strong catchers in the system. Okay? So that makes sense there. But the pieces of the puzzle have to be considered here as well. We don't just move Ben Rice because we don't like him, right? Just like we don't trade Volpe because we don't like him. There has to be other things happening. If you're going to trade Volpe, who are you going to replace him with? I ask people this all the time, right? Did anybody know he has more RBIs this year than Corey Seager and Trey Turner? The guys that people keep saying we should have got him. He has more RBIs than both of them. And those guys are on $300+ million contracts. Volpe has more RBIs than both of these guys right now. Both of them. Okay? I'm not defending his 210 batting average, no. But that's a fact. Okay? So they do have a surplus at catcher. Right? And again, I like J.C. Escarra, but he's also known as an expert pitch framer, which can hold a lot of value to a team with a lot of young pitching, who needs somebody behind the plate that's stable, that can help the young pitchers develop. He seems to be the type of guy that can do that. So he has trade value, right? He does. He could even be an asset for the Mariners too, to pack up Cal Raleigh. No, he could be, right? But yeah, the Yankees have some serious catching depth. But those are the three teams that seem to hold the most value. I think that we could extract the most value from a Ben Rice trade. And again, I'll make this clear. I'm not pushing for a Ben Rice trade, but, and I say this too, I like players, but I like the team better, right? And no matter who the player is, there's no one player bigger than the team. And this is the focus of the conversation today, Ben Rice. Okay, and then we'll wait and see what all the trades happen. There's chatter everywhere, right? Yankees can bring. We already know they're talking with the Pirates about IKF and all these guys. We know this already. There's nothing new. There's nothing to keep talking about it, right? We know about Suarez. Nothing new to keep talking about there, right? So I have to wait and see. Yeah, Flores, Rodriguez, Negrin. Yeah, Jesus Rodriguez, I think he could be trade bait, right? I think he could be trade bait. Or the Indians. Did I say Indians? Did I say not say Guardians? Was that me? If it is, my apologies. But, well, yeah, this is going to get nuts. We are now 10 days from trade deadline. 10 days. I'll be doing my trade deadline predictions soon, and that's going to be a fun live. And I'd love to know what your predictions are too. So stay tuned. That's coming. I'm also going to be live trade deadline day, obviously, which I am every single year. So, well, yeah, and this is the thing. Don't trade top prospect. And I don't think, Bernard, that Spencer Jones or Cam Schlittler will go with Arizona if they do trade for Suarez and Merrill Kelly, right? I don't think they're going to give 12 years of control for 2 months of two players. It just doesn't make any sense, right? Yeah, Ben Rice did. I mean, he did, and he's a good battery beat for Stroman. He really, really is. So we have great words. I mean, where he's there, and JC Scar does well with pitchers, and so does Austin Wells. They each have their strengths, right? So, well, we'll see if the Yankees lose the series. I don't know. I mean, we have Schlittler, we have Rodon, and we have Fried pitching the series. So, um, if there's any chance for us to win the series, it's the series. Now, we're not going to have them in the next series against the Phillies, which will suck, but because the Phillies are no cakewalk, they're a good team. So, but I'll take it against these guys, and we can win 2 out of 3. We'll pick up a game, and I'll take that. I'll take that. We definitely need to. And the Blue Jays have their eyes on Emmanuel Clase now and Joan Duran from the Twins since they lost 2 relievers in this past week to injury. So they're on the hunt now for a big arm, right? So this is going to be interesting. Well, I'm saying, Cadiza, Outfield Flores would be a perfect complement to Austin Wells. He's a righty, throws righty. Escar's lefty, bats lefty, and he's a good defensive catcher, and he's got a better arm than both those guys. So, he's a guy that I would consider. But again, he's in AAA now, right? Flores, thankfully. So they've called him up to AAA, so he's getting some reps in there now. And but now again, he still needs to transition and develop along the way as well. So, Daniel, what's going on? I don't. Yeah, it's something that we can't explain, Joseph. Why the Rockies should make big trades, but they don't. Right? They're like 800 games under 500. Right? They're going to have the worst winning percentage in world baseball history. So, and Kilby now is the number 15 prospect, and Pico Khan number 20. See, our draft picks from last week already, 2 of them in the top 20. So that's good, and I think Pico Khan, he could rocket up his system pretty quickly. Just like Ben Hesson and Bryce Cunningham, they've rocketed up. Once they started to perform well here, they shot up as well. Look, if I could just get Jake Bird, that could be a worthwhile trade. Just Jake Bird by himself. Okay, that's a power reliever, and that's potentially a guy worth moving a Ben Rice for. If you can get him without moving Ben Rice, I'm all for it. Really. So, John, I honestly don't think they're going to. I mean, the ask is going to be Schlittler. The ask is going to be Jones. We already know that already. And there's a proposal out right now, but nobody's saying whether it's a beat rights proposal or the Arizona Diamondbacks proposal. I know Brian Cashman would not open up with a proposal like that. He would not do that. So I know it's not Yankees. No. Who would have to throw in more, AJ? Who would have to throw in? Jake Bird would have more value here right now, AJ. And again, that's contingent upon what? Moving Cody Bellinger to first base. Because I honestly think, there's a lot of talk about Kyle Tucker. I think they're going to pass on Kyle Tucker and go after Tarek Skubal. You can get Skubal and Cody Bellinger for the price of one Kyle Tucker. Just think about that a few times. Okay? I think people need to stop with Dominguez. Dominguez has the same amount of at-bats than Trent Grisham has. Look it up. It's public. And Grisham's stats are far superior. So we have to stop with the Jason Dominguez not getting enough playing time. Okay? He's a developing player. He needs time to develop. Grisham is a seasoned veteran. Now, if they move Grisham, maybe that opens up a path for more playing time for Dominguez. I'm fine with that if they move Grisham in a trade. But we don't know if that happens. So Warren might have to go to Pittsburgh. Would you move Warren and keep Schlittler? Is the question. Caden Kent he's 21st. Okay, we got another one. Hello, Jennifer. How are you? No. Is not a future All-Star. I don't know. But we got to let him develop. Skubal's a free agent after next year. Caskets after next year. So, And we need somebody younger to replace Garrett Cole at some point. So I don't know if we're gonna wait 3 more years for Paul, 4 more years for Paul Skeens. Scuba will probably get between 325 and 400 probably. And I don't think Arenado is going to happen either. So yeah, there's no point comparing Dominguez to Volpe. That's a pointless comparison, really. Scuba will get at least a Garrett Cole contract. I think if Skeens keeps pitching the way he's pitching, he'll probably get more than that. I mean, what would be insane is if they got Scuba and Skeens. There's a lot of talk, but you notice the Yankees aren't the ones doing the talking. Beat writers, fans, social media, everybody but the Yankees. Just keep that in mind. The Yankees are not the ones that are putting forth this stuff with Pittsburgh, putting forth this stuff with Arizona. Cashman's not talking. Neither is Boone. Neither is Hal. They do that for a reason. No. Dominguez, we split. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see, and we'll see what happens. Because the other thing too. Let's just say they trade Trent Grisham, right? Notwithstanding Ben Rice. Let's just say they move Grisham for pitching, whatever. Does that open up the door for Spencer Jones? Right? Charlie Hayes. Maybe. Yeah, I saw that too. Report the Guardians listening offers. Except, well, now they're re-listening to offers on Cade Smith and Clase as of yesterday because of the injuries to the Blue Jays bullpen. So, but let's just say they move Grisham in a trade. But there's also an argument to call Everson Pereira up. He's got 18 home runs in AAA right now. He's also hitting extremely well. And his ceiling is not as high as Spencer Jones is because he's got 10 already in like 2 weeks. So, and he's just killing the ball in AAA. So whatever it is, it looks like he found it. But that's no drip or insult to Everson Pereira, to which I think he could be a valuable trade piece for a team that wants a young outfielder with power, right? So he could be a trade piece, right? I would rather trade him than Spencer Jones. But again, if you call up Spencer Jones, that will take away at bats from Dominguez. Just know that now, right? People need to be okay with that. But again, what's the point of calling up Spencer Jones if you're not going to play him on a regular basis? That's the other thing, right? So, but again, that's, I think, the least of the Yankees' problems. The Yankees need to focus on the bullpen right now. They need to focus on the bullpen, right? Dominguez is not a superstar, Joanne. You're right. He's not a superstar. I mean, he might be eventually, but he's not a superstar now. We gotta stop treating him like he is. So, and I think Spencer Jones has a higher ceiling. He's a better outfielder. No doubt about that. But Dominguez is a developing player, as is Spencer Jones. Would I love to have both? Sure. Well, and here's the other thing too, Joanne. Like, this is why a player like Eugenio Suarez makes sense, even as a rental, because you could put him in the middle of the lineup. It makes it easier for Jason Dominguez to bat 1 or 2 on a regular basis, right? So, because the same thing, we're hearing, like people complaining, well, Dominguez is in the middle of the lineup, then he's leadoff. Middle of the lineup, there's no consistency. Trent Grisham's experiencing the same thing, and his stats are way better. Okay, he's a veteran. He's able to adapt to it. Dominguez is not there yet. He's still a developing player. Yeah. Jones, Lombard, Lagrange. Yeah, my guess. No, this is not clickbait talk, Joseph. That's not clickbait talk. If you can get the right piece, and I made clear, maybe you didn't hear me, I'm not pushing for Ben Rice to be traded. But if you can get the right pieces for him, and if they decide they want to move Cody Bellinger to first base after this year, then sell high on him, right? There's no clickbait in that. That's common sense. Carlos Estevez could be a piece. Could be a piece. Yeah, the Cubs. Well, Cubs and the Brewers are tied for first place now in Central, so I could see. I honestly could see the Cubs getting somebody like Sandy Alcantara. So no, this is the thing with with Grisham too. I mean, Grisham's going to get paid. He's going to get paid, right, and rightfully so. He is a free agent this year, yes. So Joey Gallo, exactly. Yeah, Jose Ramirez unfortunately is not available, Brady. Fortunately, it's not available. And everybody hit the like button, by the way, if you don't mind. Who's dismissing Jason Dominguez, Gilbert? Giving credit to Trent Grisham is not dismissing Jason Dominguez. I said for like the year, I would love to get Spencer Jones and Jason Dominguez in the lineup at the same time. But if the facts right now are that Grisham's stats are better than Dominguez with the same amount of bats, it's not dismissing Dominguez. Okay, those are the facts that we have to deal with right now. And I don't deal here. I don't deal in propaganda. I don't deal in narratives. I don't deal in talking points. I deal with facts. Nothing but. Right? I don't think Acuna's. I mean, aside from that ridiculous play he made the other day, that 300-foot throw, which is like Vladimir Guerrero Sr. like, I'd probably keep Jason Dominguez over Acuna. What I think San Diego could offer for. I don't know what they would offer. What I would ask for is one of their big relievers. But I don't know if they want to move Austin Wells. I don't know. San Diego did ask for Escara. That's one of the teams that asked for Escara. You're going to need to get one of their relievers. Acuna has trouble staying healthy. So I don't drink, Joanne. So he has trouble staying healthy. And we have Spencer Jones. So. Well, the fact of the matter is, too, the team that has the best possible package with multiple positions, with multiple controllable years, is the Pirates. Not the Diamondbacks, because all those guys are rentals. Not the Rockies, because we don't know, right, whether they're going to be competent. Well, that's another reason why I don't, trade for Acuna. I keep Jason Dominguez. I keep Dominguez over Acuna. Right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, they could line up with the Padres for a trade. They really could. They could line up with like I said, the Twins, the Rockies, the Pirates, the Marlins, right, from Ronnie Henriquez, right? They've been scouting Everson Pereira for a while, the Marlins. Maybe a Pereira for Ronnie Henriquez trade will come into play. He's expendable anyway, Pereira, right? So might as well get a good reliever back with multiple controllable years. Franchise, what's up? Seth Halverson, another big arm from Colorado. So I talk about these guys. Griffin Jacks, Louis Varland from the Twins, right? Based on Franchise's recommendation, too. Shout out to Franchise for that, Ken. Yeah, Padres have a lot of needs with limited payroll flex because they've spent so much. So JC Escar fits right in their alley. He's got 5 years of control pre-arb and arb. Cheap. Would I trade Cam for who? Who's that, Benji? Serious. Are you asking me if would I trade Cam for Suarez? No, I would not. Why? I'm fine if we keep Escar too. I'm fine. Right? Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. Clark Schmidt's Tommy John has opened up a big rotation slot. And honestly, I don't know whether Luis Hill is going to be the right guy to fit it. I worry about his health. Schlittler can take it. Yeah, Schlittler can take it. Suarez, Beeks, and Kelly for Clayton Beaner. Bryce Cunningham, Brett, Ben Hess, Everson, Pereira, Rockray. That's a lot for 3 rentals. And again, Beeks is on the IL. So I don't know. How do you mean Warren's so bad? He's not as bad as people think. The Verlander is awful right now. I would pass on Verlander. Hill in the closer spot could be an intriguing possibility. I don't think the Blue Jays are going to trade anybody to the Yankees. No. Yeah, Warren's good. He'll probably get 12 wins, 160 strikeouts, something like that. And aside from the 2 bad outings he's had, he's been relatively decent the other way around. So, you know, there are worse number 5 pitchers in baseball, and he's a rookie too. He's still developing. Verlander, yeah, I wouldn't. I don't think the Yankees have their eyes on Justin Verlander anyway. By the way, smack the like button, everyone. Let's try to get 100 likes in here. We got 100 people in here right now. Let's see if we can get 100 likes. Those thumbs up, it's greatly appreciated. If he finishes with a 4.50 ERA as the number 5 guy, I'm okay with that. But if he goes to the pen, then he goes to the pen, right? But I'm also okay with Luis Hill going to the pen. Yeah. Mitch Keller and Bednar. I mean, that's an intriguing one. Keller and Bednar. I don't know if they're going to trade Stroman though. He's actually showing to have some value here. He's keeping them in the game when he's pitching. Right? Look, if they keep Ben Rice, I have no problem with it. If they keep Stroman, I have no problem with it. It sounds as if they're going to send Gil Hill to the rotation, but I would buyer beware. I'd be cautious of that. I put him in long relief. He is developing at the major. That's right too, Ken. He's developing on the fly at the major league level. Yes, he is. And my guess is they're quietly exploring Stroman too. Yeah. Giolito. Didn't he have Tommy John recently too? No more Tommy John cases for the Yankees, please. You would trade Helsley and JoJo Romero for Will Warren for the Cards, Joseph. Interesting. Severino. The only way I would consider Severino is if Mason Miller came with him. Only way I would consider him. You want us to take Luis Severino, you got to give us Mason Miller too. Duran's got a hard on with Mickey, man. Yeah, well, I'm not taking Severino. I would agree. Will Warren would likely be in AAA for all these injuries. Yeah, he got the rotation spot by default. You do have a man crush, Duran. That's okay to have a man crush. It's all good. It's all good, man. Yeah, another starter in the Athletics. I'm not exactly sure who. I forgot his name. There's another one. Anybody can report their trade. I don't really find Hector Gomez to be the gospel. So, but there are trades coming in the next couple of days. That I know too from people on the inside as well. Oh, it's all good. They're on, man. Vin Diesel's my man crush. So, all right. Yusei Kikuchi be an interesting one. And then the Angels signed him to a pretty big deal, though. Yeah, Stroman had some movement on his pitches. He did. So, I don't know, AJ. Guy Hector Gomez always says, "I'm sources, my sources." And I always ask him who your sources. Never, never, never said anything. Vin Diesel, he's getting ready for the next Fast and Furious movie, JT, for the next one next year. JP Sears. I don't know. Depends on what it would cost to get him. Pierce Brosnan. Thomas. I was in the Thomas Crown Affair. I was an extra in that movie. They're on. Remember in the beginning, they had that bus almost hit him and he walked up to the museum steps. I was in that school of people on the museum steps. It was a non-union, non-SAG extra. Got like $75 for the day. It's cool being in it, but yeah. But yeah, let's get the likes up, gang. We got 100+ people in here. Let's try to get 100 thumbs up. Carlos Rodon, 27 strikeout, perfect game. I'll take that. I'll take it. Thomas Crown Affair is a great movie. Fantastic. Could Brian Hayes and Mitch Keller. I mean, the Yankees they're in active dialogue with the Pirates. So if the Diamondbacks price doesn't come down, my guess they will pivot quickly to the Pirates. 3 years, $63 million for Kikuchi. The Angels can eat some of that money, maybe. Maybe. Right, Cadiza? Brian Hayes and Mitch Keller would not be cheap, but like if you did that, you'd still Ben Rice would be a good asset to get you some good relief pitching. Right? Yeah. Otani's never happening. School's never happening for trades. But kudos for the outside the box. I love it. Well, you'd probably have to they probably have to throw in a little bit more with Otani. They're probably going to have to give us bets too. If we're going to give up Oswald Peraza, they got to be fair. Or give us Tanner Scott with Otani. Let's be reasonable, guys. You want Peraza, you got to pay up, bro. Pirates need young bats. Well, that's Ben Rice, Mitch Keller, and David Bednar. Mitch Keller and Brian Hayes. Right? Volpe has more RBIs than Mookie does too. He has more RBIs than Corey Seager, more RBIs than Trey Turner. All those guys, $300 million contracts. Volpe's playing for pennies on the dollar. Yeah, kind of crazy stat, but it's true. It's public. Look it up. Yeah, Mookie's having like a season-long slump, unfortunately. Yeah. Play them in the World Series. We'll see. Betts, I mean, I like Betts. He's a good player. Danny Columba, they have checked in on Columba. I know that. Yeah, he does. Hope he has. Yeah. Yeah. Stanton's OPS pretty solid too. Yeah, Mookie's dealing with some physical ailments, unfortunately. So I wish him well. Hope he gets better. Yeah, but it's crazy. Bernie Williams, a lot of Bernie Williams stats are better than Kirby Puckett's, but Puckett's in the Hall of Fame and Bernie's not. Kind of crazy. But the Phillies have the Red Sox now? Come on, Zach Wheeler. Freeman, I did see Freeman got hurt. Yes, he did. I can't see Arenado happening. But yeah, he's got a wrist contusion. Freeman. Yep. Well, no, the moves will be made once the other team makes the players available. You need both sides to participate. If the other side is holding out and to try to get more value, then it's they want the Yankees to step in right now and drastically overpay, and the Yankees aren't going to do that. They never do that. They never step in and do that. So, but they could essentially come in with an offer way the hell up here, and one of these teams can just take it and can keep running. And the Yankees got Jazz Chisholm, I think, 2 weeks before the deadline last year. So, yeah. Carlos Legrand here. I heard his name's being floated as a guy that could be available. I have a feeling they're going to keep him. Candelario's doing decent. He's doing decent in AAA. Jim Candelario. Front door. Yeah, well, unfortunately, Donnie didn't have a long enough stretch of just elite play. If he had a couple, like 4 or 5 more years of when he was playing, he would have been Hall of Fame ready. Zero chance Stanton gets traded. Zero. Carlos Legrand, he needs to be protected from the Rule 5. I think this offseason. Legrand, hey. Yeah, I think it's this offseason. Stanton's not going. Stanton has a no trade clause. He'll veto any trade. So, I think every night I say this, Jonathan, too, right? I say this all the time. The what do you call it? The more time we go without trades, the crazier deadline day is going to be. It's going to be nuts. So I'll be ready, locked and loaded on deadline day. So we'll see what happens. I mean, we'll see what happens. Schemes will be younger than school. Well, that's for sure. I mean, as free agent, if he gets that far. We can match up with the Twins. Yeah, I mean, we have some players that they could use. I would say relief pitching is more important. Yes, I would, Joseph. The Yankees are scoring. The Yankees have a 112 point run differential. So they scored 112 more runs than the opposing teams, right? So they average a lot of runs, but in some games they're giving up a hell of a lot of runs too. So the bullpen doesn't really matter if you score 8 runs. If you're giving up 10, the bullpen's not doing it. So it's a prorated $16 million. So he's not making $16 million for the rest of the year. Dave Robertson's been yet. If Philly signed him, it's a prorated $16 million. So he's going to get about 5. Prorated means it would be $16 million for a whole season. The rest of the season is going to get that portion of it at the rate of $16 million. So it comes out to about $5 million. So I hope they sweep the Jays. I would only trade Rice if you can get a good value back. Players with control years, pitchers with control years. I'm not just trading him for the sake of trading him. Right? D-Rob, I don't know. I don't know what D-Rob. Maybe my guess he's going to need a ramp-up period. So, because he didn't have a spring training. He's already over 301, Kyle. He's already over that. Well, Joe Robinson's going to have no value for at least 4 to 6 weeks. They need guys now. So Robertson, excuse me, you can get him to store him for later in the postseason, but Rice for Arenado, that'll never happen. I would never trade Rice for Arenado. Brendan Donovan, different story, not Arenado. If they were to give up Brendan Donovan from Rice, I would drive Rice myself there. I like Ben Rice, but I love Brendan Donovan. Yeah, they're at 308 right now. So any dollar over that they spend right now is taxed at 110%. Or who finished, Benji? Would I love to keep Rice and Jones and Dominguez? Sure. but I'm not sure they can do that. The Yankees are going for Merrill. They're pushing hard to try to get Kelly and Suarez done. I think the Diamondbacks are trying to add a reliever to it, but Rice and Pereira and TJ Runfield for Wilson Contreras and Brendan Donovan. If the Cardinals will do that, I would drive these guys there. Yeah. They might have scored. I don't know. I don't know if they beat up on Merrill Kelly. I don't remember. Silver, what's up? Well, we're talking about, does it make sense to trade Ben Rice at the deadline? And if so, who would you trade him for? I mean, people do not want to trade Dominguez. They don't want to trade Jones, but they want the Yankees to get some players, right? Well, how do we get the players that we need without trading the players that we have? Right? We went over the guys, right? Yeah, the Ricky Ricardo. I don't like that it has Schluler in it. No, they're not going to sign Hayden Morris. I think he's already said. They have actually gone over. They've gone over the allocation, the Yankees, by a little under 5%, and they have to pay about a $27,000 tax for the draft pool. That pick, Hayden Morris, a JUCO player, he's going to go back to college. So they signed everybody but one player. Yeah. Yeah, you could keep him for reserve until winter. You could do that, Beagle. You're right. Well, yeah, exactly. JD Martinez, Rizzo, free agents. Yep. Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying, Ken, right? You have to give up an arm. I mean, if you're going to trade Rice, it's got to be for an arm with controllable years, not a rental. Devers, not. No way. I don't know who's pushing the Devers Yankees thing. But Bellinger for Vientos? Hell no. You can have Grisham for Ventos. I'm not giving up Cody Bellinger for Mark. Why would I do that? Astros, yeah, well, yeah, I mean, because what's his name? Isaac Paredes is hurt now. Yeah. I would not trade Bellinger. Vientos, yeah, the Mets can keep him. Vladdy, no, thank you. He's signed a $500 million extension with the Blue Jays. Vladdy. He's staying locked and loaded in Toronto, baby. And you can have Everson Pereira for Vientos. I mean, Vientos was pretty good last year, right? Let's see what's he doing this year. Cody Bellinger is playing extremely well with the Yankees. Extremely well. Mark Vientos stats. Let's pull up stats here. Yeah, batting .221 with 6 home runs, negative point, negative 7 more. No, thank you. There's no way in the world I would give Cody Bellinger for that, or even Trent Grisham for that. Extensions. Don't be surprised if one of those guys get extended or both. Ken, don't be surprised. Pereira, yeah. Or the Rockies, too. Because he hits with power. Could he go out there and just kind of light the ball up? Bone for Rice. Bone's on the IL. It's on the IL. Yeah. Well, I'm saying right here, Joanne, too. I would only move Peraza if you get Ohtani back. And Dodgers have to eat half of Ohtani's contract, too. You want Peraza. You want Vivas, you're going to have to give us Tanner Scott, too. It's the way it is, baby. Right? Would Hal take the contract on? Well, he would take it on now. $2 million a year for 10 years. Yeah, I don't think he would take on deferred money. That's a Dodgers thing. Dodgers can pay him $68 million a year when he's not playing. That's what the layout of the contract is. Sock the shuttle machines. Exactly. Well, I wouldn't give it. Yeah, exactly. Franchise. I would not give up Schlittler either. I wouldn't even throw in Schlittler for Bednar. Keller, maybe, not Bednar. Because he only has one more year left. So, what's this crazy? Cameron Maben is now saying Ryan McMahon is the best fit. Rice for McNabb. If I'm only moving Rice if Jake Bird comes with McMahon. We need the reliever. We need the reliever with controllable years. Rice, Selvage, Lalani, Carlos Legrand for Cade Smith and Clase. Oh my God. It's an intriguing trade. That's an intriguing trade. Exactly. Like Brian Hayes probably wouldn't be great to play, but he would protect Volpe. Mike Burrows. Hartleave? That's not happening. Hartleave for Cal Raleigh. There's no way the Mariners would do that. Well, this is entertaining, gang. I appreciate you all for joining me. I'm going to go make some lunch. But thank you for your feedback, too, on Ben Rice. I mean, that was a topic again. Like, we do need a couple of relievers. And I think the one reason I brought up Ben Rice, because he could probably fetch us at least one reliever, or maybe two, right, with controllable years. And that's, I don't know anybody else in the team that can do that right now. JV and Sandridge for Polsky. Oh, my God. Oh, Tom. The lovers are going to hate you for that one. Peanut butter. I'm making burgers. My wife wants a burger, so I'm making a burger. And a salad on the side. I wouldn't offer Spencer Jones for 2 months of Eugenio Suarez. I wouldn't do it. You can have Pereira, but not Spencer Jones. Spencer Jones is an elite outfielder, too. He is a better outfielder than Dominguez, yes. Dominguez has his strengths, yes. I'd love to see Bolton here, in all honesty. Tom, I appreciate that, man. Thank you for the kind words. It would take Spencer Jones and Legrand. Hey, sorry, that's not going to happen. I know right now it's not going to happen. Yeah, and that's the thing, Graham. Rice is the only guy in the Major League roster that could get them, that could be movable, that could fetch him a piece like that. So it has to be talked about, it has to be considered, right? A burger with Reese's peanut butter, nah. I wouldn't do it, Mark. But I put coleslaw on my burgers. Coleslaw in there gives a nice crunchy texture. It's good, man. It's good. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Diamondbacks do need pitching over an outfielder, which is why I don't think Jones is going to happen. And if Grisham can fetch us a reliever, I'd be up for it. I don't think he's going to fetch a reliever with controllable years, obviously, but if you can get something of value there, it's worth considering. No, these are just stuff from my kids' camp. What's it, like a little confetti stuff in there? They just bring them home. That's a wedding picture behind me, my wife and I. Yeah. I would only move Ben Rice for the right pieces, Brandon. Right? I don't know. You wouldn't have to do that, Silver. If they trade JC, then you can call up Rafael Flores, who's in AAA now. That'll also protect them from the Rule 5 draft. So they wouldn't have to trade for a catcher. Ron, you're preaching to the choir, baby. Brendan Donovan is the guy. I've been talking about it for 2 years. He's the guy. They have crazy depth at catcher, the Yankees. So, but I do think Goldschmidt will be gone. It really depends, Brandon, what they do with Cody Bellinger. If they bring back Bellinger and they move him to first base, then they have a spot in the outfield for Spencer Jones. So, which could make Ben Rice expendable. Mm-hmm. And you do mustard. My wife does mustard and ketchup. I only do ketchup with the burgers. Just like I only do mustard with the hot dogs. Mm-hmm. And that's the thing too. Like if Goldschmidt doesn't come back, then you can have Ben Rice at first and keep Bellinger in the outfield if you want, right? Or the other way around. You can have if they move Ben Rice, then you can, like I said, move Bellinger to first and have Spencer Jones in the outfield. So that's why Ben Rice would just be kind of sitting in no man's land. So I might as well get a valuable piece back for him in a trade. I mean, I don't want to keep him just so I could look at him and look and say, oh, I like Ben Rice, but he's not playing. Like, I want to have as many productive roster pieces on this Yankees team as possible. Well, exactly. Only with controllable years to trade Rice. That's why I talk about Jake Bird from the Rockies, Seth Halverson from the Rockies. Some of these relievers, Griffin Jacks from the Twins, Louis Varland from the Twins, right? Those types of guys. Mayonnaise. Oh. You're trying to send me to the bowl, aren't you? See how? Oh, what happened to Jason? Man, where is he? He's on a toilet bowl again. So you'll just be staring at this because I'll be in the toilet bowl with the mayonnaise. Keller has 3 controllable years, but at a higher price. Like these other guys that I mentioned, they're all arbitration guys. These relievers, and they're power relievers with arbitration salaries. So that's a good thing. Well, that's what I mean, Ken. That's part of the calculus for this year, for right now, right? If you have a guy that could fetch a piece to address a position of need, it has to be considered. It has to be considered, right? And I'm not saying I want to move Ben Rice. I like Ben Rice, but if he's going to help us make the team better, then I'm all for that. And let me look up really quickly before we wrap it up here. Nothing yet. So yeah, in a recent article, this is the craziness. In a recent article from The Athletic, Jim Bowden suggesting Yankees should consider trading Jason Dominguez or Cody Bellinger to the Mets for Mark Vientos or Brett Beatty. Go take your crazy pills, dude. Please. Please. And Willie Castro could also serve as a utility guy. Let's just say they trade for Suarez for third base. You could still make a trade with the Twins to get Willie Castro and one of these relievers, right? You could. I know let's talk about Joe Ryan too. He's going to cost a ton for the rotation. But if you can get Griffin Jacks or Varland and Castro can be the utility guy, infield and outfield, that's another good trade for the Yankees. That would make the bench better. Makes the versatility in the lineup better. Right? You're adding power and speed and versatility in the lineup. And again, you put Suarez right there at the 5 spot or something like that. It makes it easier to keep Dominguez at the top of the lineup. Much easier. It makes it much harder for teams to have to pitch around or intentionally walk Judge when you have, Jazz behind him and then freaking Suarez behind him. That's going to create terror for pitchers. So that's just the way I'm looking at it. But I don't work for the Yankees. They don't pay me. But having played baseball for a long time, that's kind of how I eyeball the stuff. I don't think they're listening to Ryan, but I don't think they're gonna move Ryan. Yeah. So I agree, Graham. Nice. Maligator. Nice. Anyway, gang, go have a great day. Really, thanks so much for coming. I hear you, Duran. I hear you. What's that? Alligator's what's my question? What the hell is a alligator? It's my question. Trading Grisham to the Giants for Tyler Rogers and bring up Spencer Jones. What do we know about Taylor Rogers? Yeah. Yeah, pen. We get some big high leverage arms in the pen, Ken. We just talked about that earlier, right? Brown mustard. Beagle. I like the spicier mustard, the golden mustard. Belgian melon. Okay, I gotcha. Okay, I gotcha. Yeah. Yeah, the back and forth is good. And it's a cordial back and forth, right? It's an educated back and forth. I prefer that than the other way around. Using other people's talking points from WFAN, from Twitter. None of these people can back any of it up. There's no facts to back up any of them, right? So, but yeah, Giants. I mean, with the exception of Justin Verlander, their strength is pitching right now, Giants. So, special force of candidates. Okay. All right. But anyway, gang, if any of the news comes out today, I promise you'll get it here. Have a great day. Peace and love to all of you. You're the best community out there. See you later.